people? Here we are again for the life roast. It is Wednesday morning. We got 5:20 a.m. I don't know if we've ever told anyone we do this at the crack of dawn. We actually get up, wake the roosters up, let everyone know it's time to start the day. Today's life roast is about college. College and kind of the, I don't want to say the stupidity of it, but really just the overwhelming stigma that without college, life will suck and you will not be successful. Yep, the loser thing. I have family members that judge people on where they went to college, what their degree is in, and blah. They could be driving around in a Ferrari and live in a multi-million-dollar mansion, but they'll find out they didn't go to college. And man, it's like they're the plague. So today's conversation will just be all around college and some of the funny things, traps that we've fallen into as a society, the financial costs, the education and what you're getting from a private school to a public school to, what you're actually studying and the kind of the bullshit that they feed you on, they make you take courses that you think this has no bearing on what I want to do with life, but they sell you on this is rounding your education. It's giving you a bigger knowledge base and blah, 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 blah. So that's what we're going to talk about. And I'd say, let's get it fired up.
Yeah, I know you got some stuff already over there ready to go. This is
this is a near and dear topic to my heart. I have argued this with many people, family members, my own kids, although I put my kids through college, so I understand the need for college. It's at the level of what society has made it that I think is ridiculous. So let's just jump into it here. So here we go. I went through the internet because, what's on the internet, as we know, is 100% factual. But some of the alarming statistics that we start out with is, okay, we get a college degree. We spent whatever amount of money, whether it's private school, public school, blah, 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 blah. And I think I saw this in your notes too. Roughly half of college grads work in jobs that actually don't require a 4-year degree. So we kill ourselves. We pay for this, or we get student loans, and then we graduate and we get a job in sales. We get a job in whatever we can find a job in because we have to start working because 6 months after our date of graduation, boom, student loans take over. So half of the college grads jump out of school. Yep, they have that little piece of paper that says, I am qualified for something. And they get a job that has nothing to do with their degree. And that's that. The great part about it is that 45% of the college grads long-term don't even work in the field that they studied. So their major, their whatever they studied, 45% when they reach the golden age of 52 have not used their college degree. It's fantastic. But someone said their success in life will be predicated on their degree.
Well, and this is where I find some of the most craziest, the craziest side of this is that we have come to push college so much that I hear people, I don't have a major. Well, just go anyways, and you can figure out your major later. Just take your prerequisites, do all the things that you got to do, just go.
Yep.
Right? People don't even know what they want to do with their lives yet, and they're going to college, and then they're picking majors because they feel they're forced into these majors. And we hear it all the time. Like, people are like majoring in arts and philosophy and all these things and business, right? And I understand it to a degree, but it's pushed so hard that it's no wonder why half of people get out and they end up in jobs that have nothing to do with the degree because they didn't know what they wanted to do to begin with. So 4 years later, they finally figure out, oh, wow, I want to do something else. And then they leave $30,000, $40,000 worth of debt just sitting there, paying off for absolutely no reason, just because their parents said, you got to go. Or society.
Right. Yeah, well, I was just going to say, is it the parents? Is it society? Is it to me, it's all the above. It's It's what other, and there's so much going on with politics now and what you can and can't do. And, a child should be able to determine if they're a boy or a girl. Well, we won't get into that. That'll be a long-term topic because we got to let the woke settle down. But we're having all of these decisions at 18 years old to say, oh, this is what I want to be when I grow up. And like you said, a lot of them, I would bet, think they know what they want to do. Like me, I thought I was going to be a doctor. And then I realized, wow, you got to study, you got to pay attention. So there was no way I was getting into a med school in Mexico, let alone a good school in the United States. But we think these kids are going to know what they need to do at 18 years old, and they're really going to stick to it. And 4 years later, they're going to have this degree, and wow, boom, they are pre-trained apprentices to whatever their position was, whether it's business or it's philosophy or it's arts. Who gives a shit? But they get into college and they realize, wow, there's so much to do here. There's so much here. I don't know what I want to do. And this is why, if you look at that statistic, 52% of college grads don't get a job in their 4-year degree. It's probably because they had no freaking clue what they wanted to do. And when they graduated, they had to grab anything they could. And then that steered them off of what their original plan was. Could be one way. That was my way. Because I had debt. I had bills.
Well, yeah, I mean, life still happens.
Right.
Right. And that's the other thing, too, is I see a lot. People get out of college, and now all these places want experience. You don't have experience. You just spent the last 2-4 years in college, and then you get that job that you didn't plan on getting, and then maybe you found a new career path, right? I mean, a lot of things happen between the time of going to college and ending up finding a career that it's just, I don't know. Again, like you said, at 18, what are you thinking about when you're at 18?
I'm not thinking about what I'm doing when I'm 22 or 25 or 40.
Oh God, let alone 50, 60. Right. How are you going to retire?
Right.
Right. What career path is going to take you to retirement at 18?
No clue. I don't even know what retirement is. I'm thinking, wow, that's 40, 50 years away.
But yeah, God forbid you don't go.
So here's my thoughts. We can sit here and blast, but let's look at some of the other stupid parts. and I say it's stupid because obviously you can tell I'm lopsided on this thing. And again, my kids, I pushed them to go off to school because my belief is this in college. It's a mandated requisite that if you want to get in to see a movie, you have to buy a ticket. To me, your diploma is that ticket. The theater's got as many movies as you want to watch, but without getting in there, you have to have that little ticket. You can sneak in the back door. You can do all these other things, but that's the rule of society. If you don't have a college degree, you can't really interview for the big time jobs. So let's find the silly part. You graduate or you're going through high school, and this is what I love. Colleges have turned into marketing gurus. I mean, they woo you. They send you these big fancy brochures. They send you statistics like all of our people here graduate and they're all millionaires in 3 years. And our teachers are the greatest ever. I mean, it's just on and on. And then you go for the college visit. Holy shit, it's like going to Vegas. I mean, these places are the Taj Mahal. And the funny part is you go on these tours, and I did this with my kids. You go on these tours, and what do they show you? You think they show you a class in session? You think they have the kids sit and see what college life is all about and see the professors? No, they don't do that. They take you to the sports facilities and they take you to the rec centers and they take you to these amazing cafeterias. And cafeterias are probably downgrading. These are Vegas-style restaurants, all you can eat buffet, surf and turf, ice cream machines, lounge chairs. I mean, this looks like a hotel. It is unbelievably amazing. So what do you think they're doing? They're trying to suck you in to say, wow, this is amazing. Yes, they still talk about the education. And yes, they talk about, the stuff that you're supposed to be there for. But the tour has nothing to do with that shit. It's how do I get you enticed to come here? Hell, I went with my kids and I thought, I want to go back to college because it looked nothing like this. So that's that part. And then here's my biggest part that I love listening to people when they talk about my daughter's this and my son is this. Private college versus public college. I looked up all these statistics. I try and be factual in these conversations, but I always meander into my own personal opinion. A private school is 3 times to 4 times more than a public school. So if I graduate with a teacher's degree from a private school, it will cost me 3 times the expense than it would to go to a public school. And I still have the same piece of paper. Did I get a better education? Some may say yes. Some may say no. But when I show up for the interview, do you think the college or the interviewer is worried that I went to the University of somewhere in nowhere, America, or I went to a state school?
Well, as in demand as teachers are right now, I don't think they're going to care.
No,
I don't.
no.
Well, but so this is the counter argument, right? And I like to look at it from both sides because I did reach out and I talked to some people about this and asked questions. And there is a certain place in the world that some would say that it does matter where you went, right? So if you're going into law and you come out with a Harvard degree, okay, as opposed to going to Tri-C and going through there, some would say that when they see that Harvard degree, it matters.
Sure.
Right? So what about that?
Here's my thoughts. How many people, we'll take a perfect example, attorneys. Mm-hmm. There's too many attorneys, way too many attorneys. But how many went to Harvard and how many went to Yale and all these big fancy schools? And then how many just went to the regular run-of-the-mill courses and then went to a run-of-the-mill law school? I would probably, and I don't know this, so this will be opinion-based. We should look this up. The majority probably just went to a regular college and went to a regular law school, and now they practice law. Are they practicing? Probably. Are they the guys in the front room? And excuse me, are they the guys that are handling the major cases? I don't know, maybe. And they're working for the big law firms, and because of their degree, they could do that. But we've put so much emphasis on going to these big elite colleges. Like only a handful of people go to those. Okay, great. But the majority of people will pick a random college in Indiana that costs $60,000 a year to get a degree in communications. All because they didn't want to go to a big school. Hey, more power to you. It's the power of choice. You can go wherever you want, but I still say for a $60,000 education, because you wanted to go to a small school, you could go to Kent State if you lived in Ohio and pay $13,000 for the same education and the same everything. What did you get? You got a college experience. And that's, again, where I go back to the marketing and the duping of society. Like, this is good. The greatest one, and I know, I'll let you talk in a second because it's near and dear.
You're good.
When the parents say, I know they're going there and it's really expensive, but with financial aid, it's like the cost of going to a local public school. Like, are you freaking kidding me? You sent them to another state. You have to drive there. You have to, figure out all the back and forth. I mean, there's expenses above and beyond. And then you went through all of this struggle to get financial aid. And financial aid doesn't mean it's free. It means you got better student loans. Some people may get more grants and all the other magic that comes along with it. Mm-hmm. But what did you get? You got the same piece of paper that says you can be a teacher.
And they could have gone right around the corner for it.
Whether it was around the corner or whatever. But again, there's the different experiences. And trust me, there's some positives to college that we'll get into. But I still look at the financial cost of college and what you're truly receiving for it. And whether or not I believe you need the degree or not. Again, I believe you do need the degree in some aspects. The cost of degree, I'm sorry, you can't sell me that some podunk college, private college in Indiana has a better program to be a teacher than a state school in some other state.
Yeah, I think in the majority of the cases, the difference in education can't be that different, right? You might have some teachers that are better equipped to relay the information because they have better technology. I don't know.
Sure.
But like when you open up a textbook, it doesn't matter if you open up the textbook at a local community college or you open the same textbook at Ohio University or at Harvard, whatever. The textbook is the same. Mm-hmm. The information is the same.
Yeah.
What really is the difference?
Again, opinion based. I don't know what the difference is. The colleges will sell you That's a massive difference. I didn't even have it on here, but you just brought up something with the books. Amazing. You go to college and for some reason a textbook costs $290. And when you open it up, you realize, oh shit, your professor wrote it.
Oh man,
Something a little squirrely there. And you can't use it year after year because there's a new edition or there's a change. Because
15th edition.
Yeah, something changed with math over the last, 12 months. But whatever, I digress. That's a whole different topic.
That's
but
a thing.
Here, I'll go into another cost of one that I'm going to blame this on parents. And parents, wake up. You are supposed to be the voice and the brain of your child. Now, again, near and dear. My kid, I've heard this. My kids are just outside that range of, they're all out of college now. I do have some younger ones that are going to come up in that world. But my son or daughter wants to go out of state for college. Well, college has this grand thing that says if you're in state or out of state. In state means, guess what? That state has funds allocated for those students who go to that college. So obviously it's going to be less money. If you go out of state, your tax money, we're in Ohio, my tax money goes to Ohio. If I send my son to Florida, well, Florida didn't get any money from Ohio for my son. So we're going to pay, I looked it up, 3 times the amount. For what reason? I just told you, because the tax money's not in that state. Why is your son or daughter going there? Because they just wanted to go out of state. Are you freaking kidding me? Parents, you are going to run up a bill just because your kid wanted to go out of state. I shake my head every day when I hear these things like, okay, and then the same thing comes up. Yeah, but they'll give them money to go there. They'll give them this, they'll give them that. Like, are you kidding me? They're still graduating with the same stupid piece of paper.
Well, this is the social aspect of this, right? Mm-hmm. Because one of the reasons why people go out of state is because somebody that they know or somebody that they've seen has gone to this school, right? Some athlete, some person they look up to, their parents maybe, right? Well, I went to this school, so I'll send you across the country to go there too, to graduate from the same school that I did, because then we can be the alma maters of the same place and have all the connections in the world. I don't know. But my friend's going here. Everybody wants to stay with their friends when they go to college. Their boyfriend, their girlfriend. Well, I'm just going to this college because my boyfriend's going there. I mean, how many times does that happen? All the time, right? And so, again, these are decisions being made by 18-year-olds, and you said it, right? Like, the parents are supposed to be the advocates. The parents are supposed to be the voice of reason. Supposed to be, right? As much faith as I have in that for most parents. Yeah. But to sit here and say, as a parent, like, if my kids came up to me and the only reason that they wanted to go across the country and spend $20,000, $30,000 more in student loans and stuff is because their girlfriend is going to the school, or because their friend's parents said it was the best school in the country, or because you went there, like, okay, bud, like, you're paying for that shit. Have fun.
Right.
Like, I don't want any, like, that's stupid. Those are the decisions that 18-year-olds are making, man.
I mean,
and we're pushing it, like, just pushing it down their throats. Like, go, 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 go. Doesn't matter the reason. Just go. Oh, you want to go? I don't care what the reason. I don't care if it's just because you want to go and party. Just go to college. Go get your degree.
Yeah.
That's it.
It is, again, do I believe college has value? I do.
Absolutely.
But when I look at the financial value against what the piece of paper holds, to be at a private school or a public school, to be in an in-state or an out-of-state, no one's going to hold up 2 pieces of paper side by side and tell me they're different, because they're not. You can argue, please. I tell you, leave them in the comments. Your college may have been the cat's meow. You may have had a professor that was holy shit awesome. That's great. I have a mechanic. I have a plumber. I have all of these people that are holy shit awesome. And guess what? They only work in this area. I get it. But I guarantee if I picked up the phone and called someone else in a different community, there's probably an awesome plumber there too. They're everywhere. My point, though, is please show me what the difference is between a $56,000 a year education and a $15,000 education. Throw on top of that, now we have the online colleges,
Oh yeah.
which to me, I think is a complete racket, because I looked that shit up, and the average 4-year degree from a college is between $45,000 and $60,000 to go online and take preloaded courses that are on a window, and it could cost as much as a state tuition, where there's a physical building, a physical structure that I will go to with a person in these online schools. And you can get student loans to take these online classes. So amazing to me that you're literally going on YouTube to get a course that I'm going to pay $60,000 over 4 years, when I can get that same freaking education for free online, because it's the same damn shit. Except I didn't get a diploma when I was done. I got the education, I got the knowledge. I just didn't get that piece of paper that said, the XYZ Online College of Awesomeness.
I'm so big on like just going online and learning stuff on your own.
Right.
And this is part of the conversation, I think, right? Because this is something that got brought up when I was reaching out and asking questions. And I kind of brought it up where it's like, okay, look, if you're going to go be a doctor, you should probably invest some time and some money into that, right?
Absolutely.
Like that's like when I go to see my doctor, I don't ask him, what college did you graduate from? Because first of all, I wouldn't know the difference. As a normal person, you'd be like, well, I graduated from here, top of my class. I'm like, oh, I don't know what the difference between that and Kent State is, but cool. But so like, if you're going to go be a doctor, I would like my doctor to have gone to college and had further education and make sure that like they took this shit seriously.
Absolutely.
Especially, like my surgeons and stuff. Like, man, I kind of want you to have some experience and knowledge in this, right? But and maybe some other professions, right? I absolutely would expect certain people to have college educations, but part of the conversation is, do I really need to go to college in the first place, right? I think college is pushed so, and we talked about this kind of at the beginning, where it doesn't matter what you go for, just go and get the degree. Go and pick pick a major, the closest thing that you think you'd want to do, right? But you said it right here is, how much stuff is right here. And I think we talked about this like on the first episode, where it's like, I can learn so much right here at home, at my own pace, on my own, if I'm willing to invest into it, right?
Right.
I looked this up, right? This is I thought this was a pretty crazy statistic, but business is the most common major, a fifth of bachelor degrees, right? So business, management, administration, and marketing.
Sure.
Right? What part of any of that stuff says you need to go to college?
Don't know.
Right? Like, why? For most people, most business owners that right? Most people who are entrepreneurs, most people in administration, most people in marketing. What about that can't you learn on YouTube on your own, or go buy some textbooks from a store, right? At literally like a fraction of the price. I've never ever asked a marketing agent what degree they had.
None.
I've never once asked a business owner, my employer, what degree they had.
Yep.
Right? The administrative assistant, I've never asked what college degree they have. I've never seen it asked. Right?
Yeah.
So like, why are we pushing that so hard?
It's funny because I looked this up too. This is the other one, GPA.
What's your GPA?
What's your GPA and what's this? And hey, listen, if you're going to go to college, make the most of it and 100%. Learn and study and all the other things. And, you should do well, and your grades should reflect, how much knowledge you've gained and stored in your brain to recite back. But we put so much emphasis on like what you're saying right there is, okay, I don't know what your degree was in. I don't know anything. All I know is you went to college. Okay, there's a diploma hanging on the wall. It says some kind of alphabet soup. You're a bachelor of blah, 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 BS this and BA that and whatever.
I understand so little of all of them.
Right. Well, but
There's just
that's
words.
that alphabet soup. Everyone loves to be qualified with all of the acronyms that they can put after
Yeah.
the name. I have this the degree, and I have this certificate, and I have blah 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 blah. But again, going back to GPA, like outside of the fact that your first employer only can only use your transcript to say, okay, apparently this kid did show up to class, and looks like he studied, and looks like he did well. Okay, that's awesome. Is that a direct reflection on work ethic? Maybe. Maybe you retain better than others. Maybe it took you longer to study. Who knows? But again, we put the emphasis on the work ethic against the GPA. And lo and behold, 2 years later, when you've decided after that first job with your amazing 3.8 GPA that you don't want to do the career or the job you were in, you go for your second job. And your second job only gives a shit about your first job. They're not asking for your transcripts. They're not going to go back because I put on my diploma, graduated in 2024 with a Bachelor of Science in Business or a Bachelor of Arts in Business with a 3.9 GPA. Like that shit starts to fall off of your resume. And you think, wow, I studied my balls off. I got a great GPA. No one cares. Are you good at work? Do you know how to get along with others? Are you a good problem solver? Do you show up on time and do you leave on time? Do you want to work extra hours? These are all the things that no one taught me in college. Society taught it to me because I found out through lots of bosses. Like, bro, my famous line I say it to my kids, and I didn't make it up. You guys have heard this. To be early is on time. To be on time is late, and to be late, just stop coming. It's ridiculous. Does college teach that? Maybe somewhere it does. But again,
you got to pay 20 extra grand for that.
Yeah, that's true. That's another course that you probably minor in that will require an additional 13 credit hours. So my point, there are all these fallacies that we've put on college that you have to meet certain criteria in order to be successful. I have to go to a college that's credible in the eyes of who? I don't know. I have to get amazingly awesome grades in a degree that I may or may not use 50% of the time. I need to drive across state or out of my state and pay more because my kid just doesn't want to go close to home. He wants to be out on his own. I keep registering all these things where I think, man, we're supposed to be the parents. Okay, if 50% of people don't use college or don't use their degree, but society still deems it necessary, wouldn't you think just go get a degree, get any piece of paper, and you can say after your first job, yep, I went to college. Yep, I graduated with as little debt as possible because I want to enter the market, not broke. I have that statistic. The average student pays per month $503. $503 a month for student loan payment. The average total debt is $38,290. Like, okay, let's tell a young 18-year-old for the next 4 years, I want you to buy a car every year. We would kill the person. Are you stupid? Why would you buy a brand new car every year or even a used car every year for 4 years? Some may say, yeah, but when you graduate, you'll have a degree that you'll use 50% of the time, that they'll be in debt at $503 per month. Okay.
So this is my point here, right? When we talk about the length of college, in my mind, a lot of the degrees and a lot of the professions, why am I spending so much time going through and getting my degree? Why am I learning stuff that has absolutely nothing to do with what my degree is?
Yep.
Why am I spending all this money? Because you have to have the credit hours, right? They put this emphasis on credit hours. They put this emphasis on prerequisites, right? Doesn't matter what you go for. It doesn't matter.
Yep.
Doesn't matter what your major is. We don't care. You have to go through this path. It's the only path. There is no other path. If you want to graduate, you want to get the diploma, this is the singular path that you have to take if you want to get it. Doesn't matter if any of this stuff's going to help you, right? And instead, and this is, so to jump back a little bit too, one of my big things is school, and this is college, this is high school, this is elementary school, none of it doesn't teach you skills and personality.
No.
The way that most employers want.
Correct. Agreed.
So when you come out of college and you have a plethora of information in your brain, but you're kind of a dick.
Yeah, that's exactly it. You can't interview worth the crap.
You can't interview.
Right.
Nobody's going to hire you.
Right.
So of course you're going to go have to work at a low-paying job that doesn't match your field, because you never learned what it was to have an actual personality and learn how to communicate with people and talk and relate and, you know, and develop hands-on skills or transfer. I love transferable skills.
Sure.
Right. But going on this singular path where you're hyper focused on one thing doesn't provide you transferable skills other than showing up on time when you were supposed to. That's it. And that only goes so far. But I mean, you know, I come back to this point where maybe, you know, in a lot of areas now, just showing up is kind of the standard. Oh, you can show up. Cool. You showed up to school. You can show up here. We're good. That's all. We just need a body. But it's just, where is that side of things? Right? Because I feel like at some point on that level, it's a setup for failure.
Yeah.
Right? Because if you go to those interviews and you don't know how to interview, right? You don't know how to communicate your skills. You might have the skills. You don't know how to communicate them. You don't know how to write a resume. You don't know how to do these things, right? That you have to go through extra courses and talk to different people or hire somebody to actually do for you because you don't know how to do it because you never learned it. Like, where's that part of the education? Where's that part of the debt that you're getting into to get these jobs that are super awesome, but you're not going to be able to get?
Right. And you know what? I would sit here, to be fair to colleges. I know they offer these courses or not courses, but classes or whatever. Maybe they're courses. It's been a few years where they show you how to interview and they show you how to do the resume and they show you how to do all these different things and they have mock interviews and whatever. Okay, so they help out with that. But to your point, functional skills is really what can't be taught.
Mm-hmm.
But really it can, because if you think about it, let's go to a trade school. Let's look at what trade schools teach. If I want to be a carpenter or you know, whatever it may be, are they going to teach me the chemical makeup of a nail and how it's structured and how the hardness of the nail will be this, that, and the other thing? Because this is the nonsense I need to know to round my education of being a carpenter. Are they going to show me the angle of the nail and how I hit it with a hammer and how I tie boards together and how I cut angles and how I can do hip roofs and how I can build walls and the distance of walls and the understanding and loads? And okay, these are all functional skills that I'll need for my job every day. And don't get me wrong, college does that per degree. An engineering degree is a must. It teaches of all of that stuff and all the different things, which is all necessary. But to your point, the prerequisites, oh, I need this and I need that, and you have to have this and you have to have that, because, okay, me personally, it's administrative bullshit.
Yeah.
Yes, I need to know math. And yes, I need to be articulate and be able to write. So I need English and I need all these things. But there's a funny meme I posted the other day on social media where there's some guy in a pool drinking a beer, and he pauses, he looks at the camera and he goes, day 300 and blah, 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 364 in a row that I still haven't used algebra. And you're like, yeah, but they sit there and say, you're going to need this in the future. Again, maybe if I'm an engineer or whatever skill, still to this day, I still don't understand algebra, but whatever. I think I've been successful enough without it. And I probably use it every day and I don't realize it. But I digress. Get back to this. Okay, teach me what I need to be taught to be successful in whatever degree I'm studying, and let me go. Is it really a 4-year program? Now we have this 4-year, 5-year master's. Like, don't worry, we'll give you a sped up extra year, and we'll give you your master's too. Is that because it actually gives you more, or what? You have an extra 6 classes that makes you the master of whatever it is that you're in now, or is it just another way to get another 40 grand out of us?
You know what I think of when we're talking about this? It's like, wait, there's more.
Exactly. Exactly. Like, But if you wait or buy now, we'll give you a whole nother year at a discounted rate and give you a extra couple letters after your name that would say, wow, you're a master of a degree that you've never done before, but because you took enough courses, you're a master at it. Like, come on. You just graduated with more alphabet soup, and you still walk out in society, and a job or an interview is still going to be the same one. Great that you have your master's in it. You're still a knucklehead on an interview. You still can't tie your shoes and chew bubblegum at the same time because you've never done anything, but you're massively in debt.
Part of me thinks that it'd be kind of cool if colleges actually took this into consideration, and part of the prerequisite process was having classes like that.
Sure.
Like just adding that to the path, right? Because like if you want to be a successful college, like, and this is where I hate numbers when it comes to this stuff, right? Because it's like prosecution stuff, right? Like I've prosecuted 90% of my people. 90% of my people have graduated. Okay, well, if 90% of people have graduated and only 50% of people actually use their degrees, what success are you really having?
Right.
What success? That doesn't show me success. If you showed me 90% of people graduating and 70% of people were using their degree, 80% of people were using their degree, those are the numbers that I would want to see, right? Where people are actually showing the after effects of getting a degree from your college.
Sure.
Right? That's what I want to see. And having courses that set you up for success as a human being in the working force, in the world, I think that takes more precedence than a lot of the other stuff that they try to teach you. And if not added on, right?
Yeah.
Like why not? Why wouldn't you want to do that? Is it not, I don't know, maybe it's not cool. I don't know.
No, it's funny. What made me think of this statistically, where they rattle off these statistics, and like the average student who goes to here graduates in 4 years, and they within blah, blah, blah years, they're making X dollars. Well, I went to college and I graduated in 95. And nope, I can't remember one time where someone called me from the school and said, hey, how are you doing?
Yeah,
we're doing a survey because we want to see what our students from back in the day are making now that they're in their 50s. Have they been successful? Not once. My phone's never rang. Maybe when I see the Athens, Ohio number show up on my phone, maybe they're calling to ask me that question. But nah, they're usually just asking me to donate money because I'm supposed to be an alum that wants to donate. It's a whole nother problem. So many stupidities. Okay, let's get back to this one from a college thing. And it's the same thing, but I think this is another amazing part of how we dupe our children. Student loans. Student loans. I've been a business owner now almost 30 years, different businesses, whatever. If I go for a loan right now as a business owner with success, with good credit, with all the above, it is like pulling teeth. No one wants to give me a loan because I'm a business owner. What if the business fails? What if this, that, so a loan process is brutal. Now, if I have a job, that's a different story because I'm working for an accredited company and they've been around for 30, 40, 50 years and I get a guaranteed paycheck every 2 weeks. And so the bank looks at you and says, all right, you're not really a credit risk. It's going to be a little bit easier. Fine. Those are the rules. Now, an 18-year-old, hey, you've done nothing. You have nothing. At this point, we can't say you're going to be anything. But you fill out an application. Oh, yeah, you have to use your parents' financial level to determine whether or not you get financial aid, but within minutes. And when I say minutes, I'm probably exaggerating. Seconds. You get an instant response that says, oh, my goodness, we will grant your financial aid or we will grant your student loan. You are good up to $35,000 this year. Like, are you fucking kidding me? Like, we've given you $35,000 to an 18-year-old that is not guaranteed to do shit with his degree if he even graduates in seconds. Amazing. Amazing. And here's the part that slays me about the whole thing. You use your parents' taxes. So if your parents work their balls off and were successful, You get less financial aid from the government, grants, all the other things. So you get less,
Yes.
which means you still have to afford to pay full tuition. So the student loan company says, no problem. Although you didn't get the federal aid, we will give you the loan money off of your parents' incomes. Still, you're an 18-year-old. Now, here's the part that slays me. When you go off to college, once you turn 18, parents aren't allowed to look at your grades. They can't see your transcript. They can't see shit.
No.
Nothing. There's some rule. I even wrote it down here because it just floored me. Because again, my kids graduated from school and that they told me flat out in the meetings, you have to get permission from your son or daughter to get access to their stuff. And it's called the Federal Education Rights and Privacy Act, the FERPA.
FERPA.
Good old FERPA. Let me read the stupidity here. Covers students once they turn 18, so getting all the information on their academic progress on a college or university transcript, or even while they're still in high school, means a parent will want to talk with their adult child about getting written permission. So they're an adult child.
You tell me it says adult child.
I swear to goodness, I copied it right out of there. It says with their adult child.
Still their child.
Like oxymoron right there. Yeah. Like, are you freaking kidding me?
So their kid.
So, okay, my adult child gets to use my income to determine whether or not they get federal aid. And then on top of that, we give them a $35,000 loan within seconds. But that same income for me, when applying for a loan, takes weeks. And I'm usually denied because I don't own enough, or I don't have this, or whatever it may be, or my interest rates through the roof, whatever it may be.
30 different reasons.
It's like, okay, where's the scam? What if the government came in and said, okay, colleges, here's the flat fee. You want federal aid? You want us to donate to your cause? Absolutely. A degree to be a social worker, the tuition will cost X. That's it. Because how can I charge a child $65,000 for an education to be a social worker? Ridiculous. They're going to come out and make what, 40 grand?
Yeah.
And then $500.
And that's not even entry level. Yeah.
Right. At $500 a month for a student loan and they're making 40K, that's not take home. All because they went to Case Western Reserve at $65,000 a year and decide they want to be a social worker. That's great. Why would you fricking go to Case? What did you get out of Case Western that's going to make you the most amazing social worker still making peanuts? But don't worry. Financial aid gave you the loan to pay for it. And now you will graduate $200,000 in debt that will take you 25 years to pay off.
Yeah, well, I mean, back to your point earlier, it'll get you that $35,000 a year entry level job.
Yeah. So the pure stupidity of we allow this to happen as parents. We allow this to happen as society. You need a college education and awesomeness that's going to come from it, and there is an institution out there that will give you all the money you want within the press of a button. Bam. You can go to college. Bam, you will be in debt. And oh yeah, here's the other one. Here's the stuff I looked up and found out. Your student loans cannot be added to a bankruptcy filing. So
even if you file bankruptcy,
that's it. Student loans nope, they will not. They're still going to travel with you. That $503 is going to be with you until you die. That's the only way you get out of it. You have to die.
Until somebody forgives it.
All right, and unless one of our government officials comes up with a really great idea to get reelected and says, "Okay, we'll just forgive you. Nice job." So, all right, what else? You got more because this is near and dear to my heart.
I made a lot of the points that I wanted to. I just think it's the amount of pressure that people are under just to do this stuff is insane. And I laugh and I'm not going to sit here and pretend like I'm some super ultra successful person, but I look around and so I didn't graduate from college, right? And I can't pretend that I did go to some great college and all these things, but I look around I guess that's the other thing. Like, I'm not going to sit here and say all college is bad, right?
No,
Because
I don't
I
believe
made that point, right? Like, I think some college is definitely great, depending on where you're at. But if we want to talk about the path to success, right, which is always the conversation. If you want to be successful, you gotta graduate high school, you gotta go to college, you gotta have that big house, the white picket fence, 2.5 kids, right? Like that is the social expectation of every American,
Yep.
right? Even still today, and I'll sit here and say I think times are changing a little bit, maybe a little too much, but times are changing, right? A lot of people are getting a little bit more aware of the scams, the stuff. But if we look around at some of these hyper successful people in the world, almost all of them are saying the same thing. Your college education doesn't mean jack in the big leagues, right? And most of them didn't go to college.
Yep. Or
even
went
if they
and dropped out.
or went and dropped out, or were like ostracized for not going to school or getting bad grades and all this stuff, and then they're the ones sitting up on the top.
Right.
Like, so what do we say about that? Like, well, how can we sit here? This is what blows my mind. It's like, how can we sit here and say that college and education and grades, GPA, where you went and where you didn't go, and all this stuff, how can we say those things are the singular path to success? I'm not saying everybody says it. I'm saying that's still just a social crux that we have. How can we say that when some of the most powerful people in the world don't have one?
Sure. And I'm a huge proponent of that, but at the same time, I would also go the other direction and say, okay, we can definitely put all these premier billionaires on a pedestal and say, look, they didn't get a degree and they didn't go to college. But there are also many other super successful people that went to college and they got degrees and they got law degrees and they got medical degrees and they got engineering degrees. And yes, they're amazing. Or there's, people that just went to school, did average, but yet they still became crazy successful. Could they tie it back to college? I have no idea.
Well, I'm not saying that those doesn't exist.
Right.
I'm saying that the idea that the singular path to success is going to college and following this script, right? And that's like this whole thing is following this script that somebody else made is the only way, right? Like that's what I'm saying. I'm not saying that. I know plenty of successful people that went to college and got a degree, right? I mean, it's just the fact that we're still pressured to go just to go because I went to college and I was successful. And that's the thing. So like that's the proof in the thing is I was successful. I went to college. You should go to college too.
Absolutely.
Right. And that's like breaking the pattern, like if it doesn't fit the mold, and we talk about this all the time, is, my point in this is when you're 18 years old and you don't know what you're doing, I think maybe there should be a year of figuring it the fuck out before you start making massive decisions and taking on $30,000 a debt a year. Right. Like going through a prerequisite prerequisite program that helps you because high school didn't help me figure out what I wanted to be in life.
No,
my parents didn't help me figure out what I wanted to be in life. My friends sure as fuck didn't help me figure out what I wanted to be in life. Right.
Yep.
And if I followed any of that stuff, I never would have been to where I have been now.
Correct.
Right. And so if nothing has helped me figure out what I want to be in life other than me living life as an 18-year-old for the last 18 years to decide what I'm going to do for the next 40 years of my life, maybe there should be something in between there that says, hey, and so here's the thing, right? This is crazy. If the government is so willing, if these institutions are so willing to hand out all this money for college, why don't they hand out money as a life coach, right? As somebody who would help strategize with an 18-year-old to figure out what they want to do in life and help create a solid plan,
right?
Strategize with them to figure out what they want to do with their life, how they're going to become successful in that area, whatever. That would take 3 months, 6 months, whatever it is. How come they can't get help going through a course like that?
Probably one, it doesn't exist unless we put it together. Hey, there's an idea.
Oh, hey.
But I understand what you're saying is unless it's got 4 walls and it's got something that's, got a program and a start to finish, everything to them is going to, it doesn't have value. It doesn't have this. It's not accredited. It's all the bullshit that comes with it. And, this degree is this and this is that. And, let me bring up a point that you just made me think of on here from a program or from just an education. This thing right here didn't exist when I went to college. Hell, we just started getting the internet and email, so that'll tell you how old I am. But whether I go for a 4-year degree, a 5-year degree, and my master's, if I need to know anything immediately, now it's to the point I don't even need to type it. I can just ask my friend Siri and Alexa, and instantly they tell me exactly what I need. If I'm sitting there anywhere in my house from a fix-it standpoint, something breaks.
YouTube.
The old way was, oh shit, my refrigerator's not making ice anymore. I get in the inside of the refrigerator, find the 1-800 number. I call the magic dude. He shows up. He fixes it $138 later. He just switched out some washer and a part, and voila. Nope. Now I go to YouTube. It shows me exactly what's wrong. It shows me how to troubleshoot it. It shows me all the magic that I need to do, and come to find out, oh, I can go to Amazon and the part will be delivered the same day. Did I need a degree? No. My point in that is, again, we've put so much emphasis on this institution that's going to miraculously teach me how to do something from a book with really little to no hands-on. Yes, we have internships, and yes, there's parts of the process that we get hands-on, but I can just as quickly over 4 years become an expert at something, an expert figuring out from my phone. And guess what it cost me? My monthly phone bill. $30, $50, even $100. Let's say, hell, you got the greatest phone plan in the world. It's $200 a month. $2,400 a year off of my phone. I can be an expert at anything. But we are still pushing the stigma of having alphabet soup after our name because I graduated with a 4-year degree from some random college in Montana that says I am a qualified.
But that's how it's always been, man.
Right?
That's just how it is.
I get it.
How it's always been. It's how we used to do it.
I would put it out there to someone to say, okay, let's have a challenge. Anyone wants to take me up on this? This would be freaking awesome. Run me someone that goes to college for 4 years, gets a degree. Pick a degree. Don't pick a specialized degree like engineering or medical or lawyer, because obviously that has rules and regulations of what you have to do. But pick a degree that says I'll get a job in whatever. And then give that same person the financial input to do whatever they want to do, but they have to learn from the internet. Who brings more to the table? It may be the fact that college taught them more, or it may be that this person had more drive. Is it the person? Is it the education? Is it a combination of both? Is it that the teachers in the college are showing me how to skip past certain things so I don't have to do this? It may be. But I'd be willing to bet at the end of the day, it's not the degree, and it's not the video, or it's not the article. It's the person.
It's totally the person.
It's the one that says, holy shit, this college is awesome. I'm going to sit in the front row and ask my teacher more. I'm going to go to after hours classes. I'm going to go to this. Or, holy shit, if you think that article was great, I'm going to read this one. And then I'm going to read this one. Then I'm going to apply it. And then I'm going to go out and I'm asking more questions. And before you know it, that person's successful. Whether they had a college degree or they were just avid knowledge, just absorbers, if that's even a word. So again, my whole point, force the degree and you'll graduate and you'll be more successful. Or was the individual that showed up ready to be more successful, and even after they graduated, they said, I didn't get what I really needed out of college, so I'm going to self-teach via the internet, and everyone's going to point back to, wow, he's successful, she's successful because they got a college degree. I call bullshit. The individual themselves took the time, finished what they needed to do, and kept on going.
Yeah, at the end of the day, like the only point that I could actually make here is if you are going to go to college, why? Right? I always say, question everything. Are you going just because? your parents said that you had to, or society said that you had to, or your friends are going, or whatever, right? And that's part of the strategy that I was talking about before is what reasons are we doing this? Do I really need it? Right? And these are questions that we just jump into shit blindly like this without questioning anything, and then we end up coming out with the same thing we went in. Our personality, our drive, our ambition, it's the same. Right? If the person going into college isn't ready to go to college, maybe wait a year. Really think about it. Right? And as parents, I think we fail miserably at allowing kids to do this. 18, go. Right? The second you're out of high school. Right? And I think that's another point of this, right? Where we're talking about 18, it's like, okay, now is the decision. Are you joining the military? Are you going to college? Are you doing this? Now. Before you graduate high school, you have to have this figured out. And they don't even wait till after high school to go on the college tours and stuff. People that are juniors are going on college tours. 16, 17 years old, and they're going on these tours. It's going to look great to them.
Yep. Of
right?
course it is.
But it's that like just ask a question or two.
Think about this: a 16-year-old. Take a 16-year-old to Vegas.
Oh, geez.
Put them in a casino with these big buffets and beautiful, and then ask them this question: would you like to live here for the next 4 years?
Of course.
Some will say no. It's overwhelming. It's scary. But most would be like, wow, this is pretty damn cool.
You know what I find a lot of colleges are popular tend to be like high party colleges.
Sure.
Like those are the ones that kids want. It's like an 18-year-old. I'm like,
I have a college degree from Ohio University, one of the top 5 party schools in America.
Yes.
And that's our claim to fame. And why did I go there? Because I thought I was going to be an amazing doctor. Because I thought it was the greatest pre-med school or undergrad to prepare me to be a doctor. Hell no. I wanted to party. I want to socialize. I wanted to live that college experience. Okay. Fantastic. I went. They gave me a degree. I partied my face off. I graduated. Had a construction company. Did side jobs. Did whatever to make ends meet. Found out I can make more money being a contractor than I could doing my degree. And after a while, I thought, this is ridiculous. I can't make any money doing my degree because I have to go answer to some schmuck that says I'm only worth X. Or I can continue doing what I did in college to help pay for college. And lo and behold, I'm making 3 to 4 times the amount. Swinging a hammer, putting a room addition on, building a deck. Was it because college taught me that or anything? No, because I worked my balls off. I was willing to get up at 5 a.m. I was willing to do all this stuff and finish the job and work on weekends and go the extra mile and blah, 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 blah. I have a college degree. I haven't used it. It's fantastic. And what I do now, most people would sit there and go, did you study this? Yeah, I studied my ass off for the last 30 years. And when this thing came out, oh my God.
10 times.
I leapfrogged my capacity of knowledge. Audible. There's plenty of other things, and they're not promoted. We're not getting sponsored by Audible.
A month, man.
If you do want to sponsor us, that'd be fantastic. But $15 a month.
$15 a month.
You have a book that tells you the secrets. 1 book a month, and it reads it to you. Like
you don't even have to read words, man.
Like nothing. And the awesomeness of it is, and again, I'm not promoting Audible, and they're not paying me, but it's awesome. They have this little button that I found a couple of years back where you could speed the reader up.
Yeah.
Like you sit there and you look at the thing that says, oh, it's 6 to 7 hours. Like 6 to 7 hours. Shit, I'll never get through this. And all you got to do is say times 2. 6 hours of reading now goes to 3 hours of reading. And your mind, at first when you listen, it feels like the guys, but your mind still picks it up. It gets used to it.
Dude, it would have taken me like 3 months to read that book.
Right.
That I just
but the knowledge is an expert that just literally put all the inside secrets, took out all the fluffy bullshit. If I read that book, do I get the alphabet soup? Do I get the special acronym after my name? I'm an expert at blah blah blah. No, I don't. But that's just on a resume. When I sit in front of someone, they go, "Man, you are knowledgeable about this." Like, yeah, I know. If you haven't heard, read this book. You can be just as knowledgeable. Where is that? How does college teach that? How does high school teach that?
Well, it's not that. It's. I still think a lot of people don't even know about that path.
They don't.
Like a lot of people are still like, I'll talk about learning stuff on YouTube and Audible and that stuff, and people are like, what? Like you're actually learning stuff, or you're not just watching YouTube to like be entertained. It's like, no, like if you look at my feed, like it's all knowledge stuff. It's all stuff that I want to learn.
Right.
Like it's not like people still just don't know.
No.
Right. A large body of people still don't know that there's other paths to take and other ways of going about things. It, you know, and it's just, it's insane. And here we sit here, we know, we teach, but like most parents don't know.
No.
Right. And so we sit here and talk about the parents like pushing all this stuff. It's like, well, how do they know any different? They weren't ever taught any different. And they're not stepping out of their zone because they're so focused on what they've been, I don't want to say brainwashed, but you know.
But it's a pseudo brainwashing. Look, here's you bring up parents. Ask a mom or dad that are still in the work world, whether they're stay at home or not. Do they love their job? If they could go back and do it all over again, would they do the same exact thing? Probably another homework assignment.
Oh man.
You know, put it in the comments. Yeah, I love my job. I hate my job. You know, or I would switch it. Whatever you want to say. But knowing what they know now, would they, if they had the opportunity to switch something up, would they do it? Maybe they would. Maybe they wouldn't. I don't know. But I can say what this affords us now is endless opportunity. Endless opportunity to do or be anything we want. Do I get the letters? Do I get the degree or the certificate? I don't. But I don't, like you said before, you want to know that your surgeon went to college and went to med school and learned it. Do you know if your surgeon was a C student? Because here's the funny part. You know, and someone said this to me years ago. What do you call a person that graduated from med school with a C average? You call them doctor. I don't look at the diploma on the wall and say, I wonder if he was a good student. I have no idea.
I'm going to start asking my doctor.
Yeah, absolutely. But I don't ask a carpenter or a plumber whether he was good at school. I don't ask them if he's downloaded the latest video from YouTube on how to install a kitchen sink. He just becomes an expert over time, experience. So back to the college part, we offer a kid a 4-year degree at an expense that most of us wouldn't spend on a car every single year. And when they graduate, they're in crazy debt, or maybe mom and dad paid for it, but the expense was still there, and they're an expert at nothing. They have knowledge, they have dots to connect, but they have to walk out into the world and figure out how to connect those dots. Hopefully they get a job in that same area where those dots are more clear. But according to statistics, 50% of the people don't. But they're sitting on some debt. All because society said you will not be as successful if you don't get a college degree.
Yeah.
And you will carry the debt until you die. The only debt that is exempt from bankruptcy.
It's pretty amazing. Pretty fantastic.
Little crazy to me. Little crazy.
I love it. I wish I was in more debt.
Yeah. Yeah, everyone wants more debt. So we've been talking for a while. I know I glommed most of the conversation. Here's the deal. And I'll go on this. I'm not against college.
Nope.
Not against college at all. I do think it has a benefit. If you're going to go to college, get the most out of college. Go to your professors, learn more, be more. Yes, partying is fantastic. But when you graduate, don't graduate because you went for a drunken degree. Enjoy that part, but get the most out of your education so that when you do walk out, you can use the tools that you learned. If you're halfway through college and you figured out, man, I suck and I'm really not taking advantages, my recommendation is get out.
Absolutely.
Get out, because you're just going to run up more debt. Parents, let's be smart. Sending your kid off to some other state school because that's what they wanted to do, ridiculous. A private college that's $56,000 a year compared to a public school that's $19,000 a year, you still get the same diploma, the same piece of paper, the same exact bachelor of whatever on a resume. Do you want to set them up for success because they don't have student loans or minimal? Or do you want to start them off with $503 a month? All because you weren't willing to say, hey, go to a state school.
I want whatever makes me look best.
Yeah.
Whatever makes me look better than everybody else.
Right. And that's it. So
that's no.
All right. Back to closure, because that's what I was trying to do. Go to college, take advantage of it. But don't be duped into believing that it's going to make you any better than the guy next to you. It comes down to the person and what they're willing to put into it and what they're willing to put into themselves. You can put it into a 4-year degree and spend gobs of money and get the ticket that allows you to get the interview. Or you go to the school of hard knocks, whether it's this or it's a trade school or it's anything, start your own business, whatever. But work your balls off, because that's really what this comes down to. If you don't work your balls off, I don't give a shit what your degree's in. I don't care about what certificate you have. Work. Period. Here's my story.
Absolutely. It's always going to come down to us as individuals.
That's it. Flat out.
Every time.
Yep. Don't be duped. Stop the societal bullshit. Stop being broke when you graduate because someone told you. I'm done. Off my soapbox. Remember, we're trying to blow this thing up, kind of make some fun of what we're doing here, of what we believe is the right thing in society. That's why we call it Life Roast. Too much is going to hit us every single day. And before we make our own decision, we allow society to tell us what we should and shouldn't do. And later on, probably say, that was stupid. I had a voice and I didn't use it. So this is our voice. I'm done talking. You guys have an awesome day.
Yes. No, that's it. Make sure you hit that like and subscribe button. One or the other, both. I don't really care. Do something. Engage with us. Leave a comment. Talk shit with us. It's more fun when you're involved. Yeah, that's it.
Peace.
See you.